So 2026 and 2027 are going to be big years for Nintendo. And the reason I say that is because we're supposed to be getting a second Mario Brothers film next year. We're supposed to be getting the first ever Zelda film in 2027. We've already seen the trailer for the second Mario Brothers movie. Looks great, and obviously they're going directly into Super Mario Galaxy. And for those who don't know, Super Mario Galaxy was a game that came out back in 2007, and it seemed like the second film that we're going to get next year is going to be a film adaptation of it, or at least it's going to be a loose adaptation of it, and it's probably going to combine elements of other games like Mario Sunshine or whatever that came like after or like during the 2000s. And we got the Zelda film coming out in 2027. I believe behind the scenes footage of that had leaked on social media. I didn't hear any dialogue or anything, but I was impressed by the costumes and design and all that other stuff, the environment. It captured the look and the vibe of a Zelda video game, especially the more recent 3D ones, whether it be Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Um, but yeah, when it comes to video game movies, I feel like the next 2 years is going to be big for Nintendo. But the thing is, Zelda is going to be the Zelda movie is going to be competing against Sonic 4, the movie, which is supposed to be coming out, that same year. And honestly, like the last three major Sonic films we got were all impressive. They were all box office successes, and it's going to be interesting to see which one does better in the box office. It's quite possible that the Zelda film, depending on the execution, might end up doing better because it's the first Zelda film, and we're going to be on like film number four when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. And next year, we're supposed to be getting the Mortal Kombat 2 film, which was originally supposed to come out this year in October, I believe. It got pushed back for whatever reason. And that's something that I'm pretty sure like that film is going to be competing with the second Mario Brothers film, and regardless of which particular video game movie does better, I still feel like the second Mario Brothers movie is going to be a massive box office hit. I'm pretty sure the Mortal Kombat 2 film is going to do well in box office as well because it looked impressive. They had Johnny Cage as the main character opposed to Liu Kang, but with Johnny Cage, it seemed like he's more serious, or he's going to be more serious in this upcoming film compared to like previous films, and compared to like video games where he's more of a comedy character that I guess like all the other characters dislike because he's from Hollywood or whatever. But but yeah, I feel like with video game movies, these next 2 years are going to be very exciting. But my question is, what major or what next major game we're going to get from Nintendo? Because you look at some of the games that's come out like recently. We've got Mario Kart 9, a game people have been waiting over a decade to see. We finally got a new Donkey Kong game, and and yeah, like people are talking about Metroid Prime 4, and yeah, I mean, I feel like those games are all like very solid. Mario Kart 9 had like a minor update issue in relation to online multiplayer gameplay, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still a pretty good game. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, felt like people turned on Nintendo and all that other stuff. But the reality is, a lot of people just overreact when something that they don't like happens, and it basically causes online backlash and whatever. But because, like, you look at Pokemon Legends C3A, it's something that I think it got review bombed on Metacritic, but at the same time, that game sold like more than like 5 million copies within weeks. So obviously, Pokemon's IPs are still doing well in terms of sales, despite whatever backlash the company has. And it's not even about the game; it's about the actions the company has taken, like the lawsuit against Pal World, them declaring war on piracy and shutting down emulation sites. All that stuff has kind of worked against Nintendo in some ways, but it's not necessarily hurting them financially, so to speak. And I think the Switch 2 is actually doing pretty well in terms of sales thus far. Because I think last time I checked, it did like I think like somewhere around 10 million units got like sold or something like that. So the Switch 2 is selling pretty well also. And as far as what major game I would like to see next, I would like to see maybe a Luigi's Mansion 4 or a Super Mario Odyssey 2 or another like main single player Super Mario game sometime in the future. I still feel like it's too soon for another Zelda game because Tears of the Kingdom I think came out in 2023, and I feel like that particular game should have been saved for the launch of the Switch 2 because it obviously would have helped the Switch 2 sold more, but it is what it is. It's cool that we got it for the OG Switch console, and and I don't know. I believe there was like a remake done for Tears of the Kingdom 2 for the Switch too. And even though that's cool, I feel like Tears of the Kingdom should have been saved for the Switch 2 during its launch because that's what happened with Breath of the Wild when the Switch 1 came out. Pretty much Nintendo waited until like the Switch 1 got released to do Breath of the Wild and to do Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it had, massive success for the most part. And I believe that same year in 2027, we also got Super Mario Odyssey. And it seems like those games were among the best that we have seen on Nintendo. So I don't know, maybe Nintendo wants to space out like some of their main releases so that people don't lose interest in the Switch 2 so easily. But yeah, I mean, I'm expecting another like blockbuster like Nintendo game by 2027 because I don't hear anything lined up for 2026. And if we were supposed to be getting a major Nintendo game next year, I'm pretty sure we would have heard about it by now. But it might be one of those things where Nintendo is trying to keep everything a secret and we might not hear nothing about it until like a week before Nintendo's direct presentation or what have you. Um, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love to see a Luigi's Mansion 4. They'd love to see another mainline Mario game. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are digging the idea of getting another Smash Brothers game because the last major Smash Brothers game that we got was back in 2018, I believe, and that was one of the best-selling games on the original Switch console as well. But the thing is, how do you like dial it up a notch from Smash Brothers Ultimate because I feel like that game was definitely like the best like Smash Brothers game in terms of quality that Nintendo had produced. Obviously, the most iconic Smash Brothers game was the one from GameCube, which I think was Brawl, and yeah, for the most part, like Nintendo's not really big on doing remakes of older games or anything like that unless they feel like doing so or unless they feel like it's going to be profitable. But yeah, it seems like Nintendo has been focusing more on the big screen and trying to take their most established IPs and trying to like get that on like whether it be like movies or television or like they're trying to create, something outside of like video games, which is good because I feel like Super Mario should have gotten its own movie way before 2023. And I'm not talking about the original Mario Brothers movie from back in the day. We're just going to pretend like that never happened. But we should have gotten like a decent Mario movie like a very long time ago. We should have gotten a Zelda movie decades ago. And I don't know. I mean, I would like to see like a Luigi's Mansion like film adaptation sometime in the future, but I don't know if that's something that's going to happen because obviously Luigi's not as big of a character as Mario, and he's always looked at as a Dudragonis or a player two type of character, opposed to being a main character that you would have starring in a film. So that's something I definitely understand, but I don't know. I'm expecting something huge by 2027. And if they did do like a major like Zelda game that came out, in 2027, then that would make a lot of sense because it would make people more invested in the series for the most part. Um, and I'd also like to see like a sequel to Super Mario 3D World because I don't think that game got a proper sequel. 3D World came out back in 2013, I believe, and people had nothing but good things to say about it. It was a ton of fun. It was a multiplayer game that people had wanted to see since like the 90s or the 2000s. And yeah, Nintendo probably should have like followed up on making a sequel to that game a long time ago, but it is what it is. They didn't do it with the Switch, so it's possible that they'll probably do it with the Switch too.